Welcome to Jimmy's.
All right, that's enough of that shit. Let's get this show on the road.
Hello and welcome to Indefinite Lunch in Infinite Combinations number 197. Is that correct? That doesn't seem right. Let's see, where are we? How are we doing here? Am I in the right order? Are we actually approaching 200 or did we get there already? Let me see. Yeah. We just got 3 more and we'll get to 200. That's pretty great. Okay, so we are talking about the 6th episode of the 5th season of For All Mankind. And it's called No Sudden Moves because there aren't a lot of moves that happen in this episode. This is kind of a slow one. So we're going to talk about it. It was released on Apple TV on May the 1st, 2026. We're reviewing it today in Cinco de Mayo. So we're going to have some fun talking about this episode today. Did you watch the episode, Philip? What did you think? Just basically.
I always watch it pretty much the day before it airs, I guess, because it's supposed to be on Fridays at midnight, but I watch it at like 9 p.m. because I think that's 3 hours ahead for us. I guess it's midnight Eastern on Thursdays. So, yeah, I watched it.
All right. And
hopefully I can keep up on that schedule.
Definitely. And the synopsis is a desperate group of Marzies tries to rectify a dangerous situation. So that's the basic. Well, but most episodes though are actually all the episodes so far until now have given me something. They know I'm waiting for Titan. They know they have their science fiction audience who is patiently waiting. But this episode didn't have any almost they had nothing. Besides just seeing Sojourner, we don't really get any sci-fi in this episode. It is very more 100% soap opera this time. And there's still stuff to talk about, but this is probably my least favorite so far. Because but there's still stuff to talk about, of course. Hold on, let me just check.
There's some interesting details that we weren't privy to when we first when I was making my theories. But we'll discuss that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh no. Okay, so we are live on Rumble, but the metadata is all funky. Okay, so let me see. You know what? Because I never saved the changes here. I don't know. I don't know if it'll update. We'll see. Doing a little house cleaning. Just a second. It's still spinning. Okay, well, we'll just hope that works. Anyway, if anybody's on the Rumble side, you should see it. It updated. Yay. Okay, sorry about that. Streaming to multiple platforms now, so it's a little funky. Yep, but anyway, yeah, there's still stuff to talk about, but it's just maybe I was just wrong for being so glad that they revealed, because it was bothering me, the what's in the box, the murder mystery, but at least they gave me something to wonder about. And it's just like now everybody's just being held hostage, and my only solace being that the next episode is titled Sirens of Titan, which sounds a lot more promising.
Well, I think that it's borrowing a title from the Kurt Vonnegut book of the same name. So I'm wondering if we're going to get. I mean, I don't think we're going to get to Titan just yet because I still think they're, pretty close. So there has to be some kind of. I mean, somebody was saying that there's going to be like some kind of a crisis, and that's going to bring everyone together. But I don't know. I'm not inclined to believe that. I do think there might be a crisis on the Titan mission, but I think have to like solve it themselves. But we'll see.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so right now, the governor is sending a message by gunpoint. He has to say, he's telling Phoenix, don't send more stuff down here. stop sending the automation gear, stop sending anything. And he's being forced to do this by Gerardo. And so after doing that, he's sent back to being tied up and sitting down, and he's as I said, everybody's held hostage in this episode. And there's one lady who tries to escape, and luckily she doesn't get hurt. And not only that, though, there's this guy who's part of the rebellion who says, I can't handle this. This is not good for me. I'm going to leave. And so just like some of the peacekeepers decide not to engage in a fire battle with the rebellion, there are people in the rebellion who decide they don't want to engage in hostage at gunpoint. And so there are some on both sides who don't want to be violent. And so that's good to see. For all mankind's always showing the hope in humanity, and so there's hope in humanity on both sides of this particular drama. So I do like that. That's fine. And regarding the guy who says, "Oh no, I'm not gonna hold people hostage," the governor says he's got more sense than any of you. And Leonid asks Gerardo what the group's demands are. And Gerardo doesn't answer him. He just smacks him to the ground with his pistol. So just a little pistol whipping going on there. Not a lot of discussion.
Yeah, what's a little bit of that between friends? Yeah.
Right. That's what they're doing.
But I mean,
they're becoming best of friends.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, yeah, I think it's a pretty strong setup to what we have coming in. I do kind of wonder if part of what's going to go on next episode is going to be while they're on the Titan mission without any of the communication. So it would be an interesting plot point, but I don't know if they'll pick that up.
Well, one plot point that they were mentioning at the beginning, when we were having the raid, that I think actually even when they had the raid, even when they had the riot, nobody seemed to be worried that they're firing these pistols in a space station, because remember we're on Mars. If you fire that gun at the wrong spot, you're gonna those stations
I mean,
the outside.
even when there was like a hole on the International Space Station, like there wasn't a explosive decompression or anything like that. So, I mean, typically, at least if I remember correctly, somebody said that explosive decompressions would only happen if it's like a larger like surface area that gets pushed out. But in general, it also depends on if they even have 100% oxygen in the environment, because then that can also be combustible. But we also don't know that either.
Oh, that's a good point. So that makes it even more dangerous, doesn't it? All the gases. Oh, okay. Yeah, you just made it.
Well, I mean,
at first you were fixing it, but now you're making it a little more dangerous. But then that means maybe the guns aren't the problem, but those grenades they were throwing around, maybe.
I mean, potentially. I mean, those are like flashbangs, I think, so they're not that bad. I would assume, but because they're not incendiary. But I would think, at least from my guesstimation at this point, that if they wouldn't have brought guns along if that was a major concern.
Okay. So, but okay, so we've got Gerardo as the leadership here of the rebellion right at the beginning here, and he's the little bit of a hothead here. So we're going to see how that evolves during the course of the episode. And even one of the other ladies, she's like, "Hey, do you even have a plan? What's the plan here?" And he says, "Just stop the automation." And she says, "How?" And what does he say? Let's stop all communications. So he's kind of just flying by the seat of his pants also. And he doesn't want anybody talking to Earth. at all. And so we do cut to the hostages, and they're crying, and one of them's crying, and Gerardo says, "If you're calm, nobody else gets hurt." So, that's not very comforting. Not at all. But something that is good is being able to see the crew of the Sojourner. So we get to see Walt and Kelly and and this other crew member. They're trying to talk with Happy Valley, but they're not getting through. And Kelly says it's probably okay, so there's probably something wrong on Mars. So, but do they not also have a connection to Earth? Like, I know Mars is cut off communication with the Earth, but why doesn't Sojourner also have a communication with the Earth? I know I know it would take longer to send and receive transmissions, but wouldn't they want to have a backup of some type in that regard?
I mean,
With Helios on Earth?
presumably there would be some kind of an Earth backup. I mean, it would probably be to the whatever Helios thing. I think in Houston on Earth, but
Exactly.
yeah.
Houston.
I
We
mean,
have a
maybe they
problem.
did. We don't know. I mean, the time in between sending signals is all off.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but would it really be one of those things where, oh, this did happen, but it's just off screen? So, okay, anyway, but they do get into contact with Cosmos One, who tells them that there is a problem on Mars, and that's why they're not in contact. But they're in contact with Star City. See, it's right there. It's right freaking there. Cosmos is talking to Star City. It only makes sense that Sojourner can talk to Earth. Unless Gerardo was so good at cutting off communications with the Earth, he cut off Titan's communication with Earth too.
I mean, I'm thinking that it's probably. I mean, there wasn't really any need to communicate with Earth unless there was something that went on Titan. So maybe there isn't really, a necessity for it. It's more of like an inconvenience for them.
Well, it's more like, hey, we can't contact Mars, so we're contacting you. Stay tuned. Just kind of just a heads up, I would think would be all they need to do. And so the Cosmos says the anarchists have taken over Happy Valley and there's a hostage situation. And so, of course, Kelly immediately is concerned with the safety of everybody, especially Alex. But she makes sure to say, is everyone okay? And so, but Cosmos, they don't know. So we have to wait for that one. And we cut to the Helios offices next after this. So we do not spend any time with the Sojourner crew. There we are. And so we see. Oops, how do I forget how to deal with these slides. I'm doing slides manually again, so I forget how to pause the slides. We're doing that.
Again,
Oh, here we go. Got it. So that's Miss Vogel, and she's learned about what's going on. So this is just a series of everybody learning that there's a hostage situation on Mars from one scene to the next, basically. And of course she tells this to Dev and Aleda that protesters have split off and they've taken over Moxie, as they call it. And I don't know. Okay. So and then it just feels like we're repeating season 4, and that's why Dev is basically quoting the bowl of petunias from Hitchhikers, and is like saying, "Oh no, not again."
You mean in terms of the riot?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit of a parallel for him because of that time. Obviously, that was not a good time.
I mean, it's like perhaps that times 10 at this point because now there's other added little flourishes.
Mhm. So let's see here. Also, hello to Gavin. Gavin's here with us today. He's saying wee. Oh, yeah, we can say wee. Let's see.
Yeah.
The Golden
Howdy,
Man.
folks.
You must be mistaken, sir. The gentleman and I have never met. Whee!
And look, it's Jim. Hey, Jim. I'm not doing well, he says. My knee gave out, and I need knee surgery. And I lost all my mowing service and growing poor. Man, Jim, that's terrible news.
Well,
Don't you guys? Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better soon and you can get back to work soon. That is not good.
I think when my grandmother had her knee surgery, it took like a couple months for her to get back to her old self. So
2 months. And that's given he has the surgery today. We don't know when he's going to get to
yeah.
have that surgery.
So I mean, there's that consultation and whatnot. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah. Best of luck, Jim. Sorry to hear that. That's awful. Matt G's here too to talk about For All Mankind. Did you at least like the episodes, Jim? I guess at least you have time to watch them now. And so Aleda's asking about how bad things are. And Dev is asking about Alex. So Aleda wants to know about the Helios workers. But Aaron doesn't really know a whole lot. But basically we know exactly where their worries lie just from this one scene. And then we cut to Alex in the med bay. So he's Dimitri, the doctor, is walking around making sure Alex is okay and he doesn't have a concussion or anything. And so Alex doesn't have a concussion. And Alex wants to know how Lily's doing. And Dimitri says that she's going to be okay. And so that's they're recovering from the last episode where they were knocked out in the riot. The riot that took place between the people, the Mars workers, and the police, the peacekeepers. And there are the worried parents, and there's some other workers, and everybody's worried. And everybody
Yeah, I
else,
was
of
kind of
course.
thinking. Sorry about that.
Go ahead. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
For drama, kind of, pulled out of that whole thing with them being in the infirmary, but yeah, it seems like I guess the drama isn't really quite with that. It's with the drama is more everything else going on. So I guess that might have added to it. So It's interesting that I guess they're trying to go with more of a romantic plot element. So if it was a little bit more, drama kind of pulled out of that, then it probably wouldn't have worked as well, I think. But I think it's the best they could do with where I think the story's going.
Yeah. Sure, I suppose. And Gerardo says something over the PA. He says that that he's taken over, that the hostages are there, and he's stopping all shipments to Earth. And Amanda is upset about this. What is he doing? And she says that she tells Miles that he needs to go figure this out. He should go help. And of course, he wants to stay there with Lily, but because he feels guilty that he didn't protect her sooner. But he does leave, and so Miles tries to go to Moxie, but he's stopped by some peacekeepers and is rescued basically by Boyd. I don't know how they suddenly become best friends here, but they do. And and so she wants to help. She doesn't like how um, forceful the peacekeepers have become, so she's trying to try and help, but it
Well, I
does
think
seem like they're
I
starting
think it's
to
mhm.
appreciate each other kind of out of nowhere, but it's okay.
Well, I mean, I think they sort of touch on it very briefly in the very beginning, where it's like she's drinking in the bar, or having some kind of a thing. So she already has some kind of rapport with Ilya and Miles, and so there's that pre-existing relationship that they don't really kind of expand on in between. But I think it's there.
Yeah, yeah, and she satisfies the other peacekeepers by smacking him in the stomach, and so that makes the peacekeepers make it assures them that she's on their side, but she's not, of course. She calls him an F face, so that also helps. Curse word. It seems the YouTube mobile app has a bigger font now for us older people, says Old Man Bird. Hello. Oh, this is so weird. After I've read a chat, it looks like that it grays it out. That's so funny. I don't know if it's I,
Oh, I mean, yeah, I noticed that right now when it's when you click on it, or if it's
yeah.
a new thing, it'll fade out if you already read it, which I think helps, I guess.
That's great. Actually, I love this. This is cool.
I mean, yeah, before it
Now
wasn't
all of
there
them.
wasn't really any clear way to know if you like read something before, unless you read it before. But that could help.
Yeah, StreamYard gave an actual useful feature. What I would do was I would star the last one I read, so I knew I read everything above the star. But this is a little better. And Tim says, "I'm an old man myself." Well, wait, if you're an old man, then I'm an old lady. Come on. Okay, so Kevin says, hello. And yeah, hey guys. So yeah, so they're on their way to Moxie. Yeah, so I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess they did have a little banter in the bar. I guess that's something better than nothing.
I mean, given everything that's happening, I think that establishing that moment earlier is like the very least that I would expect from that. Because I mean, Miles and Boyd aren't really in the same room up until this point, so it's kind of the
Yeah.
cost you have with that.
Well, Miles says things might get ugly, and I figured if we put a level-headed person or two in there, then maybe we can stop anyone else from getting hurt. So this is also what they do to convince us why they're going to work together is because they're not as crazy as the people who are already in Moxie. So I guess that works. But he also suggests that she change out of her peacekeeper uniform, which is probably a good idea. Although, even though everybody already knows who she is, if she gets out of that uniform, maybe that'll make things a little easier, which makes sense. And so then they're going to make it to that smile that peacekeeper. I wish there was some better lighting on this. Is it just me or is things darker than they were last season? It feels a little darker. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. Things it seemed pretty fine when I was watching it.
Okay. I don't know. But anyway, this
Could be the transfer
he's
over.
pretty
Who knows?
happy. He's pretty happy at her beating him up in the stomach. So they get to get away and get to Moxie and try to see if they can help with this situation. And they arrive there, but of course, Gerardo doesn't like seeing Boyd there, but Miles says that she didn't participate in the riots. I mean, she was there, but she didn't when once the guns started coming out, that's when she backed off. And Boyd and then he says, "Oh, okay, then are you on our side?" And she says, "I'm on the side of everyone calming the F down." So that's a good point. Oh yeah. There it is. Yeah. Okay. There's.
Yeah, it seems like Miles and Boyd at this point represent like a moderate position on everything, and Gerardo is sort of more of the, obviously, the extremist here.
Yes. Exactly. Tim says, not as crazy as people here on Earth. I don't know. I don't know. You're not in that room. And that Gerardo guy just pistol whipped somebody. That pew pew looks quite heavy. Yeah, they're very specific space weaponry. I can't handle a 44, let alone whatever that is. Yeah, I'm sure it's based off of the first space gun they made on the moon, but it'll be a little different since they're on Mars with different gravity. That's what she said. Oh, I don't know what I said, but it's something I said. I do that all the time where I say something that is you could use that on, but I don't really notice it. Miles tries to figure out what Gerardo's gonna do if M6 calls his bluff, since Miles chooses to believe that Gerardo would not actually hurt anybody, and except for pistol whipping somebody. I haven't seen him shoot anyone yet. Did he? I forget, like, who actually fired weapons. Did he shoot weapons
It was the
during the
peacekeepers who shot first, and then I think it was
Well,
them who
yes,
shot
I
like
know
3
that.
people, and then
Oh, did
there was
Gerardo shoot
the
anybody?
no, he just grabbed the
Is what
gun and
I'm
then
asking.
like they charged for the Moxie.
Okay, so Gerardo didn't shoot anyone in the last episode is what my question was. Not who's shot first. I know the peacekeepers were the ones who started
Well,
the
I mean, I know you're
violence
not
to begin
asking
with.
like who shot first,
Yeah.
Han or Greedo, but the thing is like I have to think about whether or not
Only
like, how
Han
the whole
shot.
thing went.
Only Han shot. Okay.
Well, there's controversy behind that, but I'm definitely in the one camp of that one. But I mean, yesterday was May the 4th. Be with all of us. So there's that. Now we're on Revenge
Yeah,
of
and
the Fifth.
today is yeah. There you are. Yeah. But of course, I had to troll. I wore a Star Trek shirt yesterday. And so
There was a lot of
there's
that yesterday. A lot of people. I mean,
yes,
there was a lot of trolling all around, I think.
it's the classic. It's just the classic game. But anyway, Miles doesn't want to think that Gerardo is going to hurt anybody, and to counter on that hope, Leonid stands and he starts to protest being held hostage. So let's see that. So, right, and no, so he says, "Now I don't know what it's like in your country, but in Soviet Union, we hang terrorists for treason. And that is what will happen to you, all of you. Once order is restored on this base, you will pay for your crimes." And so this causes Gerardo to grab uh, a electric cattle prod of some sort and tase him until he falls to the ground, until the governor falls to the ground. And yeah, so that happens. So Gerardo is not exactly being peaceful. And so there you are. In Soviet Russia. Yeah, I know.
It's
That's
like
what I
a
was thinking too.
stun prod or something. Stun stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some it
Revenge
is
of
Cinco de Drinko or Cinco de Mayo for some. Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not something that Mexicans celebrate. It's a Mexican American holiday.
And it's a fascinating history since it's only commemorating like one battle that Mexico won, I think in Puebla, Mexico. And the
Yeah.
weird thing
It's not
about it
even
is
it's not
it's
even
like
the
a local thing.
independence battle or anything. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it's a battle that eventually the Mexicans lost because the French came back several years later and took it over. So, just another holiday to drink.
Yeah. Well, it's an American holiday. Magi, it's an American holiday and cultural appreciation. Tim says, I wanted to put a joke about that, but thanks to YouTube for not letting people get their feelings hurt. Oh, I'm so sorry you were censored by YouTube. Goodness. That algorithm is a little sensitive. And don't I know it?
Yep, I'm still hoping that you get that whole situation squared up.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna take a while, so don't worry yet. I'm still working on thumbnails and stuff, so I'm trying to be patient. So anyway, though, we get this scene right here, and we get a bunch of Marines. You feel like they're on the moon, and they're actually shooting people, and you're like, "Oh no, don't tell me there's some kind of drama happening on the moon." But then it turns out they cut to the lights and the overhead lights and everything, and you realize it
Yeah,
is just a
simulation,
simulation. Yeah,
or
yeah. So
rather, like a practice. I mean, the Marines do stuff
mhm,
like this all the time, especially out in over by Camp Pendleton, that's close to here. But there was a point where I thought this was like a legit, like they were like doing some like anti-piracy action on the moon, and I was like, wow, we're already at
mhm.
that point. But nope. I mean, maybe they're doing it because there is something like that on the moon, but this is just practice for that.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on the moon. I uh I sent in they could have theme parks up there already. Who knows what's going on, right? Are people having vacations on the moon yet? So we
Well, if I remember correctly, I think that we know there's at least enough room for people to have like a whole reality show set on it. So there must be enough
mhm,
infrastructure to where you can have a little bit. I'm assuming there's probably malls or stuff like that on the moon or whatever kind of thing they portrayed in the movie Ad Astra. But we'll have to see. Either way,
mhm.
I think it's about high time we see the moon because we haven't seen the moon in like what 3 seasons.
Exactly. How are the ants doing? That's my biggest question. And I think we'll get an
I
answer.
mean, that's one of those things where maybe they go to the moon and they're like staged there before they have to go to Mars, and then we finally get a reveal of you know what happened to them. What have they done over the last was it 40 years? What have they evolved into? Maybe it is what I suggested when we were watching that first season episode, and we were like, oh, this thing's going to evolve into some kind of a like really weird thing.
Mhm. Yeah, but for now, all we get is Marcus helping Avery with her helmet. So we're seeing that friendship between them start there. But Marcus is making fun of one of the other officers who, if this were a real thing, he would have been dead because his helmet they wasn't sealed correctly to his suit. And because he's speaking out of turn, they all have to run 10 kilos as a punishment. And so
Yep.
everybody smacks him on the head for getting them in trouble.
Yep, as one would do in
Mm.
that particular unit.
Yeah, yeah, that's very mild hazing, and even Stevens, even Stevens does it too. But of course, she calls herself Jarrett right now. She's still
Yeah,
hiding the fact that she's a Stevens.
yeah. She hasn't
But
revealed.
I
Or,
know
did she reveal that later?
she's
Yeah.
gonna do that. She's gonna do it later in the episode, but it's just I can't. She they cast her so well. You can't forget.
Well, I mean, yeah. It's that dramatic irony that we know as the audience, but the other characters don't.
Yeah. So Devin and Leda are tired of sitting around, and so they tell Erin that it's her job to take them where they need to go. Of course, Aleda wants to go to Moxie, and Dev wants to see if Alex is okay. And so there, that's it. Yeah. So basically, in his mind, Dev is basically a surrogate dad since Ed is gone, and of course, um, Alex doesn't. His dad died a long time ago. And Gavin says, Space Marines. Yeah, Space Marines. Yes. Finally, we get to see Space Marines again.
Well, I'm
And
kind
we
of
know,
wondering because I want to see the
yeah, go
patch
ahead.
that they have because I don't know if it says Moon Marines on it still or not, but that's what they said in season 2 with the when they were first created.
Mhm. But now that there's Mars, then they're just Marines. Space Marines, rather. I like the night shot. We're whalers on the moon. We carry a harpoon, but there ain't no whales. So we tell tall tales and sing this whaling tune.
That's from Futurama. Actually, it'd be really funny if they had like a high school on the moon and the mascot was the Whalers. Then that'd be a good connection.
What? Old Man Bird, you don't have to do that. Oh, Stream Elements, that's very generous of you. Old Man Bird just tipped $10. Oh, and all he says is exclamation point.
Very good. Well, I'm glad you're still getting some support.
Yeah, definitely. That's good.
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
It is green.
So that's for everybody drinking today. I'm not drinking right now. Obviously, it's only noon, but maybe later. They do that in real life. Mild hazing in the military as part of training, basically. Yeah, that makes sense. Green machine.
I mean, I'm not going to drink either, but it is important to note that if you're going to drink mildly or drink moderately and
responsibly.
Don't try to do crazy stuff with it.
Yeah, no drinking and driving or operating heavy machinery. So,
and also, it is a school night, so watch yourself.
Yeah, Philip wants to make sure you do your homework. Brogu says, hello, everyone. Happy belated May the 4th be with you. This is the way. Good to see you, Brogu. Brogu has spoken. He has. And we're very interested in what Brogu has to say.
Always.
And so Gerardo is listening in on some communications with another group. And this group is another group of rebels, I guess. Is what I don't know what else to call them. They're near the biodomes. They saw Palmer, so the head cop, the head peacekeeper, and other peacekeepers around there. So they're wondering why they're over there, all the way on the other side. But see, actually, they don't know where he is. Chief Boyd figures out where he is based on where he's been. And she figures out it's because he's trying to go find some weapons, some better weapons than the ones that they have to take back the station, to take back the moon base. I mean Mars base. Excuse me, Happy
Mars
Valley.
Outpost.
Yeah, Happy Valley. I went back to the moon because of the last scene. I was like, oh, I want to go back to the moon.
It's because we like the moon, but yes,
I do like the moon. And in real life, we'll go back to the moon next year, right? But we're still not going to land on it. We're going to do other stuff.
I mean, I have my suspicions that we're probably going to not do it until 29 because they still don't have a lander. But it makes sense for 29 because that's unfortunately like the 60th anniversary of it. And I don't know.
It does
don't
make
like
sense.
That, but
wow.
It would make sense for them to push it off just for the commemoration idea. But there'll be another mission, I think, next year, but that's another flyby, but it's with more of the hardware.
Right. Too more testing, more making sure everything's going to go right. I don't mind them taking it slow.
Yeah.
And making sure that they got everything they need.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm pretty much for that too. But the other thing too, it's because I think this one was kind of a Apollo 8 sort of deal. I think this next one's going to be more of like Apollo 10, where they like take it really close to it and just test everything. But as we know from For All Mankind, Apollo 10, that was the chance they needed to take to land on the moon. They didn't take it, so I don't
know. Well, yeah, that's what bothered Ed the whole entire time. But that is
yeah, it would be quite the thing if somehow like China gets there first, and then we finally found ourselves in For All Mankind universe just significantly delayed.
That would be weird. We'll see what happens. Who is going to make the first moon base? That is the actual first that we're waiting for.
Yep, that's who's going to make Moonbase Alpha? We have no idea, but hopefully we get there.
Yeah, because we've already walked on the moon, and I do understand needing to take your time and everything, but yeah, that's gonna be great. We're way behind for All Mankind Universe, but anyway, Gavin says hello to the newcomers in the chat, and FKHC Tim says no drinking and operating heavy machinery, but where's the fun in spicing up life? Well, you do other things, like you can paint. Old Man Bird says, actually they have that. They have that at the mall where you drink wine and you paint and everybody paints the same thing together. I've never tried it. And Tim says, or they don't want to give the president any type of credit. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I'd say that he provided the path to allow it to happen. Just so many presidents have blocked space travel, and he didn't. So gotta give him that. Tim says we walked on the moon and probed Uranus too.
Well, I mean, it's not entirely true, the whole thing with that, because I mean, he's kind of just like building upon stuff that already was happening. But the thing that kind of bothers me with it,
but he didn't say don't do it. He didn't cancel the constellation program. That was the thing that really pissed
I
me
mean,
off.
he is kind of reducing the
Obama
budget of
did.
NASA. I mean, he's reducing the budget of NASA by like $57 billion or something over a few years, and so that I'm not too big a fan of myself. But supposedly Isaacman is trying his best to kind of. I mean, they do, but at this point, with what's going on, I think if you want to get them on the moon, you got to increase that budget.
Right, they do know what they need.
You shouldn't obviously be cutting the budget in order to achieve this monumental goal, especially if you're somebody who thinks you're going to be immortalized in history because of it. So that's a little discordant for me. Hopefully they can reconcile that soon.
Yeah, but before that, they were straight up canceling projects and saying, "Oh, we got to stop going to space and send the satellites around and care more about Earth or whatever and climate change."
I mean, that's
and
the
all
thing
that
that's kind of weird about both sides. It's like you can do both because both in the past have traditionally,
exactly,
reinforced each other. So I don't know why it has to be an either or proposition myself.
Mm-hmm. So we've got a goal now. They've got to stop Palmer from getting those weapons, and because he's just as bad. He's just as extreme as Gerardo. So Gerardo and Palmer are the foil to Boyd and Miles. So Boyd and Miles want to calm things down. Palmer and Gerardo are at war.
Yeah, because I think at this point, it's not that they want a revolution. It's more, I mean, that's what's happening. This is like the beginnings of it. But I think Boyd and Miles are kind of of the opinion that they just want to be treated well. They don't want to be replaced. They just want to have, some kind of a semblance of normality without having to, worry about, where everything's going to be coming from, like their food or whatever. So, they're kind of like that center moderate group, like we were mentioning. And then, Gerardo's of that extreme, like, we need to get rid of all these people and take over. And then, the governor and Palmer, they're both like agents of the M6. And so their views are a lot, pretty much going to be with the status quo. And, we need to do these things to not make life on Mars better, but to make life on Earth better. And so that's kind of the tension we're running into right now.
Right, because they're okay with the automation. They're just saying, being on Mars is a stepping stone to just making everything work for us. And so we don't really need to be here. Everybody needs to go home. and of course, there are a lot of Martian workers who have made Mars their home who do not want to do that. Yes, you're right about that. And Gerardo wants Boyd to show him where the weapons are to take him to them, but Boyd it says no. I trust you. I trust you even less than I do Palmer. So we know that. Okay. And And so then we have a discussion between Miles and Boyd. Celia. No one ever really calls her Celia. Fred calls her C. And so
That's right.
Mhm. Yeah, so here in this particular scene, Miles is trying to convince Boyd to change her mind, but she's saying that we should just surrender and everybody goes back to their habitats and we just figure this out without having people held hostage and all of this craziness, which makes sense. But Miles says that can't happen because the current leadership shouldn't be in charge, and so he doesn't agree
Yeah.
with keeping the status quo. If they all go back to the rooms, everything goes back to what it was before.
And actually
And
potentially worse because now they'll get some kind of punitive action done on them.
exactly, and he's worried about Palmer, and he uses the storming the Alamo. He's the Palmer, I guess, is Santa Ana, and
Which is interesting because when we had that kind of recap episode with Robert Meyer Burnett, I had brought up that I thought that this Martian thing might become like a Martian revolution for kind of the like space Texas sort of thing, and so it's interesting they make the Alamo connection.
Mhm. But who is My Lie? I don't know that one though. I didn't look that up.
Miley.
My Lie. Okay.
That's the one where this guy, Lieutenant Kelly, I think. He was this guy who basically, after they killed a bunch of his troop people, or his commanding officer, I believe, he basically went ahead, found like some kind of Vietnamese village and like murdered everybody there. And there was a action done on him where they had a court martial and they threw him in jail for a little bit. But I think ultimately they did release him. And it's like it's a very well-known thing in not just military history, but also in like criminal justice areas as well.
So it tells you just how worried Miles is that Gerardo is going to hurt somebody. And okay, so that's obviously from what you described from the Vietnam War. Okay, interesting. And he says that there's only us two in the middle trying to stop this whole thing turning into chaos. I can't do that alone. And so that there was that line that got me the title for this live stream. And so Boyd agrees and they're going to find the weapons. So their alliance is fully cemented here, and so you just got to accept it now.
Well, we now have the basic kind of groups that are going up against each other. So we have these three major factions that are kind of moving in on this situation, and so it's up to we'll see what the next few episodes say. Who's going to win out on that one?
Mm-hmm. So Lily wakes up with her mother there, wondering where her dad is, and her Amanda says that he's trying to calm down the situation, so she accepts that and how he was there. But Amanda also tells Lily how much Alex was staying by her side too, wanting to know that Lily was okay. And so Amanda notices something that the kids are kind of brushing off, which is that Amanda thinks that Alex has feelings for her. Yeah, right. Okay. So this is the 90210 stuff. So Lily says, "Oh, we're just friends." And Amanda says that essentially that guys are sometimes scared to make the first move. So that plants the seed for what Lily does later. It's like, okay, I guess if we're just stuck in bed making sure we don't have concussions, why not start a romance? Or at least continue it. At least it's not coming out of nowhere. And I do believe it. I do believe in it. It's just
I mean, I kind of think that it's kind of like a very, very like mild version of where things could have gone, because I don't think it's like it doesn't rise to like the level of like CW drama stuff or romance. So that I'm happy with.
I don't watch a lot of CW, so I don't know the how horrible it is.
I don't watch a lot of it, but what I have seen, it's very. Once you see it, you'll know.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so we're on a hunt for all the weapons, and we get to the first cache of weapons, but it's empty, and so they've got to find the next one. They're suspecting that Palmer got to that cache already, and so they decide to clear the central room. Then, so they're looking around, and they find 3 peacekeepers who are also a lot like Boyd. They left the battle after the shooting started, and that they're no longer on Palmer's side. Palmer got after one of them for not firing, for not using her gun against the protesters. So they're all friends now. They're joining the fun. So and then we meet the Helios gang in the hallway, and a peacekeeper stops them here, and Aaron says, "I have the right to escort them around the base, even during a curfew." And so Aleda, oh, not Aleda, but whoever she is, whoever the peacekeeper is, lets him go. Let's do this. I'm a little mixed up. Oh, hey, hello to the Comic Relief Crusader. I get a day off and no Scotty? For shame. Well, he doesn't watch For All Mankind with us, which makes no sense because he likes watching ladies do amazing things, and that is the show basically. So, but that's it's his choice. So, oh well, and 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 so then we get the cross. We get the cross. So Aleda wants to go to Moxie, and Dev wants to go to Medbay, and so they decide to split up. And Aleda's going to go to Moxie with the security, and she says, "You got to take some security." And Dev says, "No, you don't need to worry about it. No, it's not like anybody's going to take over Medbay." But he should have, we'll see soon enough that he should have taken somebody. It's kind of dumb to go on by himself. But I guess that's part of his narrow-mindedness. I don't know if I want to call it that. This is the guy who brought
It's
us
definitely
fusion.
it's a little arrogance on his part because he thinks there's going to be no issues between where he's at to the med bay, but also it's sort of maybe even I would go so far as to say somewhat tone deaf because it's like, did he really think that in those files that he wouldn't be implicated in the whole automation thing? So
Mhm.
we'll have to see
Yeah.
how that
And
thread
and
goes, but
yeah, and he knows that Alex is probably okay. He just needs to see him. And so then we get the news broadcast. Oh no, not this one. The scene.
well, there's actually two
This was
things
an
going on here. Actually,
unintentionally funny scene.
what do you mean the reference to 9/11?
Yes, it's kind of silly. Oh my god, I can't. It's a little too on the nose for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. But the thing that's interesting with it is that it says violent insurrection on Mars, and I think that's also sort of a commentary as well on the whole January 6th event. So it's very interesting how this thing is a combination of like their version of various events in history.
Oh, I wouldn't even think about January 6th because only one person died in that, and that was just a cop who shot one of the people who were taking the tour of the Capitol, because they were basically ushered into the Capitol as if they were
Well,
taking a tour,
there's
and
a lot of
so there was no
opinions on that, but
insurrection happening. There
well,
was no insurrection. That's all I
there's a
know.
lot of discussion being had about that one, and unfortunately, that would get us. I mean, it's a political show, so there's that aspect of it. But
Yeah.
I've typically
Yeah,
disagreed
no.
with the notion that it is anything other than what it was. But
It was
again,
a tour.
I
I
mean,
took a tour of the Capitol before. That was basically
I
what it
mean,
was.
I again, like, I don't necessarily agree with that characterization, but
Mhm.
you know, I don't want to make it about that. So let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, there wasn't even if we disagree on that, there wasn't heavy violence from one side or the other where both sides
I
were
mean, there was a
shooting at
lot
each
of. I
other.
mean, there's a lot of
In
videos of
terms of
people, breaking things and doing what they did.
yeah, but
It's.
oh my God, it's
I mean, there's a lot of people
and
who
but
were
there are
trialed for
people
it.
who also think that there were people on the other side who were not really on the side that they thought that people thought that they were on. You know what I mean? Like
I'm not particularly sure.
plants.
I mean, there's people who say
There were
that
a
there's
lot of
like feds
plants.
involved, but a lot of those people, um,
Hmm.
a lot of that really didn't shake out in the trials. So even the people who were there, had to apologize for what they did, and they've owned up to the idea that it might have been a failed insurrection. But
Yeah, it wasn't.
it's
But
very interesting.
anyway, hmm
I mean, the
so
QAnon shaman was one of those people who was saying that, and that guy was pretty dyed in the wool for that. But
yeah. Oh, those people are crazy. So
well, that's
but what I'm
not
saying
the
is
not a
that
controversy.
there was I don't know what they call themselves, but the other side was there too to make things look even worse. And so
Yeah,
then
I
there
mean,
was
a lot of that
there's
whole
a this but anyway, this is right here, of course, supposed to be a parallel to when George W. Bush got the word that that the towers fell down, but
mhm.
it, it's a little different here because they're viewing the Marzies as terrorists, but they weren't the ones to incite the violence, and they didn't blow anything up, and there weren't 3,000 people perished. So it's a way different. It, they're trying to make these
Well, I mean,
parallels
they
to
didn't
real life,
really.
but none of them actually work.
I don't know. I think they do for the most part. But I think with this particular one, there could be that. But I think some of it is, even when that event, like 9/11 happened, there wasn't really like any notion that that's how many people were going to die at the time. It was more of like a shock that something like this could happen.
Mhm.
So when that happened on 9/11, it was kind of like, is everywhere attacked or everywhere being attacked, or is it just a handful of places, or is it just those two places? But
Right, because it was yeah,
ultimately,
it did look like an invasion at first. And in here, I guess you could call it an invasion of the Mars workers over the Helios and M6 control over Happy Valley. And so I guess I
I
can
mean,
see it
I
from
could
that
probably
perspective a
say that
bit.
maybe it would have been better to kind of, and maybe there have been no way around it, but maybe moving that scene more towards when, you know, right before they make their demands
Jimmy,
might have been a better
oh,
part to put it.
right before the
Because I think the thing when they make the demands, I
Mhm.
think that's probably where that would have made the
That is
most
more
sense to put it.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think that would have been better.
I think that would have
Uh,
still gave you what you wanted, but it would have added a little bit more spice to it, I think.
And Canadian Spider Man helps me out here. Bad actors, paid bad actors, and state instigators. Jill is correct. There were those. It was a sanctioned occupation. I'm sure there were some of that and some of what Phil is saying. It was a
I
combination
mean,
of
most of what I'm going
drama
off of is just
happening
what
there.
the Department of Justice says for it now. But you know,
Sure. And Jamie's here too. Hello to Jamie. Scotty's people needed him. Probably. That's probably true. He's been needed a lot more lately. He's got a he's got friends. So anyway, the reporters are talking about details of the current status of Happy Valley remain scarce. So they don't really know what's going on. It's all very in the dark for everybody. They just know that there was some violence between the protesters and the peacekeepers, and that there were at least 3 people dead. And that's what they know so far. And that Mars has been taken over, and there are people in the hostage situation going on here. And Bragg was informed during a visit to a high school, so he's not reading a school book, but I guess he's doing it's some kind of science fair project, and they've got the STEM program going on, and that is what this is portraying here. Yeah. So
It is true.
in the group of of course they call themselves the Sons and Daughters of Mars. And then the second reporter says that they taken the second reporter is the one who mentions the hostage situation and violent takeover. And so and also of course the reason behind it being the anti-automation protests that started it all. And M6 has not made a comment yet. And so I don't know. I liked your idea that you had it a couple episodes, Phil. I thought it'd been way more fun. That Dev had part. You said that maybe Dev has part of the city built Maru, and that they
I mean, that to me makes the only sense to me, because I mean, at the end of the day, like logistically, if you're going to have this thing actually become a revolution, you need a constant stream of supplies. You need some form of self-sufficiency, at least for a while. You also need a constant flow of money who can, supply you weapons, who can supply you all the resources you need. And to me, the only way that would make sense, or the only way to get that going, would be to have, maybe doing something with the ISN, the other group of, spacefaring nations, assisting them, and then Dev bankrolling the whole thing. So there's just something that happens a little bit toward the end. So we'll get to that, and I'll address that part. But that's what makes sense to me.
Yeah, but this episode we don't get any revelation of that. We don't know what is happening in that regard.
I mean, you see little tiny threads that could probably lean us in that direction, but right now, nothing concrete.
Oh, but Snortpoopus is here. Great to see you, Snorty.
Okay.
How are you today?
Once again, howdy, folks, if I haven't said hi at any point.
And so we're back at the bar where Marcus and Avery are drinking near their camp where they're doing their simulations and everything and training. And so they start talking about, or at least Marcus talks about his family, and he starts talking about how this revolution isn't going to last without without any supplies or anything. And Avery asks if Marcus likes Mars when he was there. So he was on Mars, and Marcus says that he liked the people and his friends. He just hated Mars itself. He didn't like the sand. It got everywhere. So he said, I like the people, my friends, but the place is just so effing barren, I was so stoked to come back home to see the ocean again and the trees. And the best line of this is the last one that he says. It's kind of nice that you can just go outside here without dying. So yeah, to have to put on a spacesuit every time you want to go see to be in nature, that you're still so separated from it because you have to walk around in your tiny spacesuit.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I don't think there's actually been any serious discussion in For All Mankind about a terraforming project or anything. So it's just like locally terraforming stuff with Maru. But, even then, like to terraform the entire planet would take thousands of years to actually accomplish. And that's outside the scope of the show. So obviously we do something that we can actually see within our lifetime. So I can see them finishing Maru by the time of next season.
Right. Yeah, you can build a city. The dome cities, that makes sense to do. Or rather donut cities, whatever Dev has planned. But anyway, Marcus and Avery, they have a discussion, and Avery says she wants to be on the moon. And she finally reveals her actual family history to Marcus, that her biological father is Danny Stevens. And yeah, from Mars. And so Marcus is
Been revealed.
surprised to learn, yeah, that Tracy and Gordo are her grandparents, and he sees them as heroes, which always bothered Tracy. And I mean, not Tracy, it always bothered Danny. Also bothered Jimmy. Like their kids were kind of messed up from all that. And they do mention Jimmy and his terrible attack that killed Molly and a bunch of other people. Um, and
Yeah,
all of
and
that.
surprisingly, it actually connects us to all the other events of the show, so it's not disconnected.
Mhm. Yeah. So Marcus has a silver lining in all of this. He's very nice to her. He says, well, I mean, your grandparents were heroes. So the way I see it, you've got a 50-50 shot of not being an asshole. So I think that's really actually rather sweet.
It's a strong takeaway. Yeah.
And hello to Tony. He's leaving a like and a love. And yeah, right back at you, Tony. Hope all is well. And the Comic Relief Crusader has hello too. Yeah, see, we're all here saying hello. And we're gonna leave Avery and Marcus. They're there in the bar. Oh, I guess there's a few more. I kind of did like this conversation.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting seeing them go to where they're gonna go. We don't know yet exactly. But here's the Moxie group of rebels stopping Aleda. Aleda stopped by these guys, but she says, I've got to talk to the people on the Sojourner. They've got no one to talk to. And somebody's always supposed to be there to talk to them. And this like I should get people's names. She agrees to let her in. But to be fair, they haven't really developed her character that much. She's just there to say stuff
Well,
to
I don't think
just to
actually-
question Miles. Sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think her name has actually been given, or maybe it has.
Yeah, see? Okay, it's not just me. I'm not just forgetting. But the others are not allowed. So the red shirts have to go back. I don't know. The security has to go back to Helios. So only Aleda's allowed in, and we get to see some of the consoles and to see what's going on in terms of what's been happening now that everybody's held hostage and nobody's paying attention to, the actual science of the matter of running the Mars station and being in communication with the Sojourner Titan crew. And so we've got this. Oh, can I actually? I don't know. I want to kind of zoom into that. I don't know how. Let's see, where is it? Can I? No, I don't. Pointer options. I can highlight it. I can draw on it. Magnify. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that. That's better. I still can't read that, but red's not good. Caution, levels high. Levels of what? Pressure? Chamber pressure, generator output. I don't know. Some kind of levels are high. That's all we get. That's all the science we get in this episode is in this
Something's not good. Is what it says.
Something's not good. Something's not good, and Aleda's here to fix it. That's all we get. She's also outraged that her employees are being treated this way, and so that is also something going on here. She wants this particular employee back on the console So we're gonna check those words out here. Aleda says, I personally asked those people to take an 18-month journey to the far reaches of our solar system. And I won't leave them to wonder whether their children and their family are okay. And so that's the reason she even gets to be in this room is the human element. So the humanity of the situation does get to the the revolutionaries, so they allow her to come in and talk to the crew.
Yeah, I was under the impression it was about a year, but apparently if it's 18 months, then the travel time must be longer, or they're planning to stay near Titan for longer.
I think that's it. I think part of it is the journey there, and the other part of it is the actual science of the matter of looking for life. Because you
Yeah.
don't think they're just gonna walk on Titan and say, "Oh, look, there's the life right there. Hey, high five."
Well,
They've got to actually, dig.
Most of the time, at least some of the research stuff I've seen, it's like stays are like no more than like 4 to 6 months. But it would make sense because she did say a year, so I'm assuming that means a year on Titan, which would make sense for their research.
I agree.
Which, if that's true, that means that I'm correct that it's about a 3 or 4 month trip, and the math still checks out.
Mhm. That works for me. And so Aleda wants to reestablish communications with Sojourner Titan, and so it is agreed upon they can do that. And Miles is there to support this. And Miles kind of takes it to the next level. He says, "Go ahead and untie everybody except for the governor." So he still stays tied, which is probably
Yeah.
for the best for now.
Not that I want to rush things or anything, but I think I have about 5 minutes or so before I have to head out. But still,
Oh, okay. Okay, so I understand that. 5 minutes. Okay. This is a big, heavy dialogue scene, though. Aleda is saying who should be on which console. So let me get through this dialogue scene and then we'll see where we are at with the rest of the episode. And I'll
Yeah.
let you say everything that you want to say and I'll let you go. So Gerardo
I
says
appreciate it.
until we're secure, nobody. Okay, so this was all. Aleda says, "Are you an effing idiot? Do you realize that the longer we have these consoles unstaffed, the more danger the entire base is in, right?" And I don't know, I guess maybe it's like on the moon when the reactors went haywire because nobody was controlling things with the core, but I don't know. Aren't systems, and like Gerardo says, I know that there are backup systems and that they can handle themselves for a while. And Aleda says, "Do you want to bet our lives on that?" So yeah, so there are automated systems for that. So obviously it's got to be more complex than the moon base was. But she still says they need somebody on the station, and Shireen gets to establish communications with the Sojourner crew again, and so that's what happens there, and we untie everybody, and so and then of course we see then we unfortunately witness Dev Dev's arrogance. He pays for it here in this next scene. The governor is not only still tied up, but still has duct tape. He opened his mouth too much earlier. So Dev meets some of the workers who beat him up, and there he is getting beaten up. And I do know that Philip does have to go, but pretty much that is almost we were very close to the end, basically. And so Dev sees the consequences of being implicated, as you said, of being with the on the side of automating Mars, the iridium, all that stuff. Everything on Mars is going to be automated. Everything automated. And there's Kelly, so they get to know what happens to their family and everything. But I know that you got to go, so I don't want to keep you too long. But I'll do a bit of a speed
Sorry
run, and
about
I'll go back and I'll cover it over. I'll cover over it again. Rena asked to go to the bathroom. Okay. No, I'm gonna cover that again in a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
and she's also a master manipulator. So before you go, I want to know what you think about the fact that she manipulates Miles into doing this, into getting the governor to state demands and send them to Earth. What do you think of that?
I mean, that's kind of interesting because it would imply that either she's doing it because there's some other ulterior motive for the Russians, and that she's still like trying to keep that thread going, or that she might legitimately kind of maybe have an idea that she might want to start a new life on Mars and like maybe push things along that way. Although I kind of think it's going to probably be that, not that somebody's telling her what to do, but maybe she sees like the grand scheme, and she's of the opinion that if she can like control this little thing and like make sure they fail at it, then everybody wins, or at least her side wins. But
Yeah,
I don't know. I kind of
exactly.
feel like there's something else there that's a little bit more, that would add more tension to that. But I think that's going to be like the tiny nugget that starts off everything, and it does. But yeah, no, I think it's very interesting.
Well, but we're back to American Revolution kind of things, because part of the
Yep.
demands are we want representation on the M6 and veto power.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the demands that they send to
Yeah.
Earth.
So now we're at a point where they want to basically start a nation. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah, they want
quite a
to
different
be
task.
seen.
Yeah.
And also Lee shows up. This is all crazy things. He's just like, I
Yeah,
had to see you.
all these best parts. But yeah, I'll go back and on the replay and probably comment a little bit about it. But
Okay, great. And then there's Alex and Lily kiss, and then
yes,
the president responds and says, "We don't negotiate with terrorists, and you've made some powerful enemies, and we're not going to send you any more food or medicine or whatever." And so they're now the ball's in the court of the Martians. What move they're going to make next in terms of against this M6, who I wouldn't say is anything that America would ever do to anybody, or any there's been no political figure who would do something like that to Americans. They do it to other nations, but if there's Americans on the Mars base, I don't think any president would have ever said no food or medicine for you. So that is the because he's punishing Helios as much as he's punishing the people who are actually criminals. So this goes well beyond reality here. This is definitely fantasy oppression happening here with the
I mean
M6
there's
getting
some
together to do
precedence
that.
for it. I mean, I don't know if it actually happened in For All Mankind's universe, but we can think of
Mhm.
stuff like Waco or Ruby Ridge or stuff like that, where the U.S. government has gone after domestic terrorists and has tried to, those were Americans, and then things got out of hand, and a lot of those people did ultimately, succumb to the, whatever situation it was. But this has never happened on another planet, so this is a unprecedented, as a whole in general. But
True.
I wouldn't say that
Okay.
necessarily the idea of the government going after Americans is necessarily fantastic.
So were there actual non okay, so I don't know about Ruby Ridge. Were there actual people there who were not domestic terrorists?
I mean, they were
Or were they
all domestic
are
terrorists, as
they
far as I'm aware.
okay, so but that's why this is different, because the Helios are the ones being held hostage here, and they're going to be punished just as much as everybody else for this. And so that's why I'm
I mean, it's
thinking this
been
this is absolutely, like you said, unprecedented, not just because they're
I
on
mean, it's
another
been
planet, but because the good people are being punished along with the perceived bad.
yeah. I mean, there's more to it, obviously, but I'm hoping that they expand on it next episode, and so we can actually get some more concrete data points on that. But other than that, obviously, I love discussing the show, discussing it with
Yeah.
you, Jill, and everyone else here. But yeah, I gotta get going so I can teach these kids. This is the last day of
Okay.
class, so obviously, or thankfully, that means I'll have a little bit more time for the last few episodes. So that'll be nice.
Oh, great. That's perfect. That's great. Okay, so I'll let you go teach the children, the college kids, and have a good class, and see you next time. And
Yeah, we'll
if
see you then.
it's see you then. See you around. So, oh, and yeah, have a good day. And hello to Euler Greg. Let's do this. Where am I? There I am. Hello. Euler Greg is here. Euler Greg is here. Snortapoopus Cuber is here. Canadian Spider-Man is here. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. We're gonna go back up. Okay, so I scrolled all the way to the end of my notes just to go over everything with just touch on everything with Philip while he was still here. So we did at least get to get into a little bit of the debates that I wanted to get into, specifically the fantastical nature of harming innocent American civilians just to punish what they perceive as bad criminal civilians. So I'm not sure. He did make some points that there were maybe some precedents for that, but I'll have to do some historical research of my own to corroborate that particular note. I'm here for you, Jill. Oh, hey, it's Don Lewis. Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you're here for me too. And Snorty and Spidey. We're going to need tequila. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Oh, of course, some tequila. Oh, margaritas can get me in trouble. You know, I think, oh, this margarita is so weak. No, it's not weak. It has a lot of liquor in it, Jill. They did not skimp on the liquor, as sweet as it is. Be careful. And so, okay, so I'm going back through my notes, and so I'm gonna go through them a little more methodically here now that we have a little extra time. And let's make sure we get it all done because Aleda is starting to be able to do stuff back at Moxie again, to get in contact with the Sojourner crew, tell them about basically the best part of that entire scene is that Miles is slowly starting to regain control as leader of the revolution. So that's good because he's supposed to be the leader of the sons and daughters of Mars, and he kind of fell back the past few episodes. He was kind of not part of the group. And Gerardo definitely needs the help. He cannot be the leader. This is not working. So Miles is a much better leader of this, and this is a good change. And so that's what goes on here. And actually, Gerardo would only allow Miles to take over, so that works. Lime margaritas, yeah. Ooh. Okay, I know what I'm doing after I pick up the children from school and everybody's safely home. And Miles decides, to untie everybody. Okay, so I've said that already. And oh, I love this line from Miles. This is important. In terms of leadership, this is good. I don't know how this thing plays out, but if we treat them like this, meaning hostage situation at gunpoint, we're no better than the people we're fighting. Although, in the same breath, he says, hey, don't untie him. Just, don't untie the governor. Don Lewis says, the dragon lady says, greetings and hail Snortapoopus. Interesting. And once again, I guess we'll go through it. Dev encounters a group of Mars workers who are upset at him for the automation plans and not telling anybody. Even Aleda's mad that he didn't tell her. He was kept in the dark. Oh no, there's Fred. Did we go too far? Yeah, okay, there's the beating up. So Dev always thinks he's in control of everything, and as Philip was saying, arrogant, totally arrogant. And so he didn't expect this to happen. He didn't expect to be beat up in the corridor. And so Leda talks about that Alex is okay. She tells the Sojourner crew about their family, but Elena's husband is unconscious and badly injured, and so she has to tell her that. That is, and then they do find a weapons cache that has not been hit yet by Palmer. And who does Boyd see there but Fred? And he betrayed her in the last episode. Not just betrayed her, but he was also the one who smacked her in the head with the pipe when she was investigating the murder, obviously, because he's trying to cover up the murder, which he is responsible for. So he's responsible for it, and so then he eventually he's apologizing, but it kind of rings a bit hollow because he had lots of time to tell the truth before, and he was never honest with her. So of course she just doesn't really want to listen to any of his shit. So so that happens. Don Lewis says, "Hail and greetings. The medical team is doing everything they can." Aleda says to the lady whose husband is hurt. And so Arena is talking to Miles. So okay, so let's get to the part where Arena says, "Hey, we all got to go to the bathroom. Unless you want us to wear diapers like the cosmonauts in the old days." And so he agrees to send a couple of people to the bathroom with a couple of guards. And so he sets that up. But she also tells him, "You don't have any leverage. What do you think you're doing? And you're gonna totally fail, basically, if you don't follow through with threats that you make." And so that gives Miles the idea of they talk a bit about what's going on and what their next steps are in terms of this revolution. What is it gonna do? But while he's thinking about that, the peacekeepers come back with Boyd, and Miles is confused because he doesn't see the weapons. She said she got them, she hid them. She doesn't want Gerardo to have them. And she says, "I'm not giving out guns to every itchy trigger finger who wants one. Before I just hand over an armory, I need to know what the plan is." So she's keeping them safe. So nobody has them, which is great. Nobody can get hurt right now, and if they do need them, they know where they are. And she's of two worlds now. Of course, she sympathizes with the revolution, but also she also has a sense of loyalty to the other peacekeepers. And she has a job to do, and she still wants to do that job, the job of protecting. So she actually wants to do the whole serve and protect thing that cops do. So she's a good cop, you know. And she found a few more good cops while she was looking around. And so let's see. And Gerardo says, "Oh, we have the governor. That's our leverage." But Miles says, "That's not our leverage. Our leverage is the Uridium. That's what Earth wants." And so this was also it wasn't totally his idea. He's influenced by Arena, and she's basically a master manipulator, like Philip said, either for her own political gains because she wants the revolution to fail, or she's trying to help the revolution. It's kind of unclear which it is at this point. But what's not unclear is that where Canadian Spider-Man is. It is very sunny, and he's saying yes to margaritas. "I like to serve mankind. They're tasty. It's a cookbook. We'll get back to the Twilight Zone when we're done with For All Mankind season 5. And so to send out their message, they have the governor record this video mail that they're going to make here. We're going to see this. Let's look at it. So they're going to have their demands to the M6 that they're sending out, which include, okay, so no more automation, and we want a seat on the council, and we want to have veto power. Basically, is the entire demand structure. This is our home. We are the people of Mars. We speak as one. Is the rhetoric that he uses. And so, as this is happening, we get to see Nam again. She has to clean up all this mess from the riot, and to her surprise, Lee shows up, and of course they embrace, and he wants to take her back to ISN, where he's been safe with all the basically communist nations who are not with the M6. But they've apparently been good to Lee, and I don't know. Now that there's this sort of drama here, I didn't get to tell Phil, but what's the possibility that ISN, for political reasons, is going to help the Martians with their revolution? Is that a possibility? I think it's a possibility, but just for their own political gain would they do this. And in terms of, and it actually makes them look good too, because now they're the humanitarians. And that's unfortunately, that's a predictable nature of some of this season. It's just a little too predictable, and I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Pretty sure. But anyway. Oh, and I think the romance with the Lee and Nam is way cuter and better than Alex and Lily. Alex and Lily are okay, but Lee says, "Don't cry. Come, we'll take you back to the ISN base where it's safe." And Nam says, "The people who helped you before, they need your help now." And so he agrees. Lee agrees to help. I think he agrees to help. At least that's the feeling I get. And Lily watches Alex wake up. So the kids wake up. So okay, let's go back to this particular scene. I dropped my entire screen. That's how much fun I'm having. All I'm drinking is coffee. Ooh, a little more though. Lily says, "I heard you wouldn't leave my side." And Alex tries to play it off. Yeah, I had to show the doctors what to do. And we were just getting these leeches ready in case there was any internal bleeding. It's what? And I guess that was kind of cute. But of course, he says it was scary seeing you like that. And he basically admits he's afraid to lose her. And so she reaches in. She makes a first move because her mom said that he might have trouble doing it. And so it's a little bit of an awkward kiss, but they're very young, so I let it go. And so the doctor who plays Chef is the only witness to this particular scene. Yeah, or I guess anybody else in this room, because there are a lot of people here getting triaged. Isn't technology wonderful? Says Don Lewis. Technology, well, yes. Well, that technology is the only reason that I get to talk to you right now. So in that sense, technology is pretty wonderful. But I wish there was a little more technology in this episode and a little, maybe not as much of this, but as Philip says, the drama isn't that bad. It's I don't know though. I feel like I'm the one being held hostage here, but I'm getting a bit of Stockholm syndrome. Like, oh, the drama isn't so bad, but obviously, I want some science fiction in my science fiction, and some people say, "How is there no science fiction? You're on the moon and you've got all these bases." this whole Happy Valley city, and this is cool. Of course, I do like the dome over here, which is where they have hydroponics gardens and are able to grow crops and everything. So they're not 100% without the ability to create things. So they're growing something here. I don't remember exactly what kind of food they're growing. And maybe over here too. They've got resource management. They don't import everything. So we're gonna find out soon what they don't import, what they're actually capable of producing by themselves next episode, which will be a lot more fun than this episode. I want to see how Mars would survive on their own. Couldn't they survive on their own without, asking asking the ISN for help? But obviously, they're going to get help from ISN because Lee's here. Lee's here to save the day. And so they get a message from the president of the United States, but he is not just speaking for Earth, he is speaking for all of the M6. And he's saying that there's an embargo on all shipments. We, as I said before, we will not negotiate with terrorists, and so there will give you nothing. And until you release the hostages and resume iridium shipments, the M6 nation will have agreed to complete an embargo of Happy Valley. You will receive no new supplies, no new food, no new medication, no support from Earth. And I assure you, we will bring it to a resolution. So this is his promise. Okay, but we're just looking at some people asleep. There's the governor asleep, and there he is. So so we've got the president on the line here saying this, and he says, "Without allies, without aids, without your home planet, let's see how long you can survive. Today, you have made some powerful enemies." And while this is going on, we get to see Avery get a text message immediately. All leave and passes are canceled. Return to base. So okay. So no more shore leave for you. Okay, so she's been called back to duty. No soup for you. Yeah, exactly. No more giant glasses of cola for you, Avery. But those giant glasses of cola are how you know that there's no liquor in it, because if you buy soda with liquor at the bar, they give you these little glasses, and you get a little shot and a little bit of liquor. Anyway, I just did a bad thing, Jill, says Spidey. So while this show was going on, Spidey bought a bottle of tequila. Bonfire later, perhaps. This is the perfect night for a bonfire, Spidey. Okay, that's exciting. Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because I was thinking, oh, I've got to raid you, but it's not like you're having the bonfire right now. Obviously, I can see if I can raid anybody in a minute, in which I may do. But anyway, okay. And Deb, the last thing that happens here while all this is going on is we see how he is, and he says lock all the doors. He actually, except for this big scar right here, I mean, that does look gnarly. He actually doesn't look as bad as I suspected. It he does look a little bad, but anyway, M6 is ready to starve out Mars, and we're going to see how Mars handles being on their own. Not for a little bit. I need to do some sailboat repairs. I forgot you even had a sailboat. You haven't shown us your sailboat in a while, Spidey. An accounting study. Yeah, definitely finish your homework first. Definitely. Makes sense. Okay, so we've got a plan today. I don't know what you guys were planning to do on your Tuesday, but I might go see what Spidey's doing tonight. I had an unintentional nap earlier. Well, I didn't mean to sleep more than 15 minutes. I ended up sleeping an hour and a half, being late to this show, which meant that Philip had to go teach, and we didn't quite finish the episode properly. But, maybe he'll listen to this on the replay and have some ideas But yeah, I love For All Mankind. The season is interesting. There's a little more, as always, ever since maybe season 4, I've been complaining about there being too much drama in the show compared to the science fiction. But here, there maybe a little too much parallel saying that he's saying Earth first, like America first. But that's not, that doesn't follow for me because he's, as I said earlier, punishing the Helios crew just as much as the people he considers to be um, criminal. So I don't, it's that's just what happens though when you're an author. Sometimes you want to do these parallels to reality that don't quite work, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's at least it is balanced. It is balanced. They are showing the revolution kind of, not all being very good. Gerardo is definitely not being a very good guy. But at least Miles is there to balance him out. And so we're happy with that. And Gerardo is actually very happy with Miles in terms of a demand for a seat on the council. I'm sure he knows that he thinks that yes, that makes sense. No taxation without representation is basically what I get from this. But it's not necessarily about taxes, but that's the emotional parallel to the American Revolution, which I think works much better than when they try to parallel things to modern day. That doesn't work as well. Plenty of people on Mars. They won't. Gavin, no, nobody's gonna eat anybody. Gavin. But there was a there was there were rumors about that happening the last time that people were stuck on Mars and they couldn't they didn't have any other food, and so nobody knows how they survived. Some people say that they got to Gordo's stash of food or Lee's stash of food. I forget exactly which food that they actually had access to or are found. But yeah, let's not go that route, please. No Soylent Green. Yeah, it's a good sized bottle to share. Oh, good. Yeah, hopefully you can share. Make some margaritas. Um, oh, Snorty says he'll probably be in bed before the bonfire shows. Oh, okay. But if you wake up, see if it's going on and say hi as you're on your way back to bed if you're going back to bed. We'll see. You know, just saying. Gavin is thinking like a bear now. Yes, he is. For some reason, it's a lot more acceptable for Snortopoopas to say he's eating somebody because he's a bear. It's not cannibalism then. But anyway, yes. So Dev isn't looking good, but he's gonna survive. Everybody is no, at least there's no deaths in this episode in particular. Well, but there's a potential death. The husband of the Sojourner crew, um, lady whose name I've forgotten, because they need to go to the Sojourner crew. I want to learn all their names and learn their personalities and learn what's going on there. And I want to go on the ship. I'm done with Mars. I'm kind of bored with it. We got this hostage situation, revolution going on. Great, free Mars, rah rah rah. Let's get to Titan. I want the science fiction now. We're done with this. I'm done with it. Um, yeah. So yeah, a little politics is okay, but you gotta give me some balance here. You gotta throw me a bone for all mankind. So the next episode, more science, please. Starting just around supper time, Snorty, 5 p.m. Pacific, I think. Oh, just in time for supper. Okay, and uh, Gavin says he's gonna try to stop by. And so for me, that would be 7 p.m. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I might still be, depending on if the children have homework. I might still be busy, but I'll tune in. Speaking of leaving, I am going to leave. I finished talking about the episode, so we've got no more to talk about on that front. But I do need to do some raids. Rumble requires me to do raids every month, but also, is there anybody, if I'm going to raid anyway, is there anybody I can raid on the YouTube side? It's a little easier to raid. No, I don't see anybody live. Let's see. Ah, Jamalama sent me a nice comment. I'll have to see what that's on. No, that's an upload. Talking on Pulse uploaded something. I always like their stuff. Enigma. No, it doesn't look like anybody's really live. Uh, no, nobody's live. I can't see anybody live. Oh wait, Sci-Fi for Me TV. Are they live? Okay, so maybe I can raid them. Let's see if I can. Sometimes people block it. Sometimes people block you from rating them. So I gotta go and see if they've set that up or not. And that requires me to go into my backstage over here, boom, my channel. And we're gonna see if it's possible to raid this particular. Let's go. I gotta go to edit my own broadcast. Okay, sorry for having to narrate every little thing I'm doing so you know what's going on. So you know I'm not just ignoring you guys. I'm still here. I just have to, let's see, customize, redirect. That's how you raid. And so let's find, what's the name of this live stream that they're doing? I had them just a second ago. Sci-fi for me. Okay, let's try that. They're live from the bunker. That's what it is. Live from the bunker Met Gala. So let's see if we can raid to that. Live from the bunker. And I don't see it. I don't see it. You know what? It must not be. It must not be that I can do this. Sci-fi for me. Let me try again. Usually I should do this beforehand. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I can rate them. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna save that. Okay, so y'all be sent over there on the YouTube side. Let's see what's live on the Rumble side. Hello to PvP, Pleasant Valley Picker. Hi. And cheers, Gavin. Yeah, sci-fi for me. That's a cool channel. Uh okay. So what? Oh, okay. I was looking at something else. Let's go to the Rumble Studio and oops. Okay. Oh, Kofi. Kofi's advertising my page over here. Thank you, Kofi. Oh my goodness, I have not been looking over here. Yes, hand shot period, and yesterday was fake Star Wars Day. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Because the real Star Wars Day is May 25th. And I'm sorry I didn't read over on the Rumble side today. I still don't know how to use the Stream Ninja thing, so I'm gonna work on that. Yeah, it's live over here, but I don't really see anything. Maybe I'll try the in browser one next time. Yeah, this isn't a good day for experimenting. Oh, and the title of the stream did update. Yeah, that was a long time ago, I'm sure. Let's see who's live on Rumble. Let's look at my notifications. Right. I kind of turned off my notifications because I was getting all these emails. Let's see. I don't see anybody live. uh, there's nobody that I know that I can raid to. But I gotta raid to somebody, so I'm gonna pick a stranger. People like the side scroller people, right? They'll be like, who the hell is this raiding to us? Okay, so let's see if I can do that. Let's share. And Then I'm going to go back to mine and go back to, Right. Okay, I've never raided before, so I'm trying to figure this out. And I think I do /raid and then live stream URL and then enter there. And please review the raid details. The raid will be initiated once you've confirmed. Sure, go ahead. Send people over there, because all I'm going to do is do that, since I have to do that 5 times this month. So hopefully this counts as the first time. Anyway, PvP says, taking the day off, waiting for the smoke alarm guy to show up to check the smoke alarm. Oh wow, you don't even have to buy your own 9-volt batteries. You must feel like a royalty today. Somebody else is going to change your 9-volt batteries for you, or else they're defective and they need. What? Jill is raiding and pillaging too, perhaps? Yeah. Oh, it isn't all that much of a raid. I don't know how many people were watching on over there. But anyway, I don't do live. I have just uploaded more content to Rumble. Oh yeah, I'm subscribed. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'll see you guys next time. And bye for now. I'll talk to you later. Have a good rest of your day if you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo with margaritas and whatever. Just know it's not really any kind of Mexican Independence Day. It's purely American Mexican American holiday, just for fun. Why not have some fun? Have some fun today. I'll see you later. And I'll see Spidey later. And I'll see, Snorty later, and Gavin, and thank you, PvP. See you later. And yeah. And Don Lewis. I knew I wanted to say goodbye to Don Lewis and Euler Greg and Tony and everybody. Okay. Bye now.
Learn all that is learnable.
So I hope you learned something today.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
I enjoy hearing what you have to say. So leave me a comment.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
So let's continue creating conversations and ideas.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Share out the stream to bring more here. Bye for now. See you next time.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
We don't have to be mean, because remember, no matter where you go, there you are.